I used to have a favorite saying, products are a reflection of the people that build them.
Tight-knit community here. I mean, everybody kind of knows everybody, and it just allowed us to have a good workforce and be able to do what we did.
Ultimately, it's our goal to get to being number one, and that's the main thing.
You need to stay ahead of the curve there with the competition. If you stay stagnant and just produce the same thing all the time, you'll fall behind.
Ferris had a passion to do it right. They did not stop until they figured out what people wanted.
Ferris goes way back. It goes back to 1909. Dean Hubler, who had an invention for a new improved milking machine, and Jesse Ferris, the two of those got together and started manufacturing this milking machine and selling it, and it was pretty successful.
The whole area was covered with these small family dairy farms, and over the years the larger farms have taken over, and there were a lot of people that worked on the farms that came to work for Ferris. So that work ethic was so strong, and also working long hours and working hard. These people were very accustomed to it.
What about the thousands of families who are being forced to leave their homes, their livelihood, and their way of life? Their problems stem from a government policy that's proven disastrous to the family farmer, and while we try to improve that policy, these families need immediate relief, legal and emotional support.
Dave Ferris said, "Oh, boy, I got the government, I got the weather. I think I got to find a way to diversify this business. I don't think I could go through this a second time." What had changed over the last 20 years? They found that outdoor power equipment was becoming more and more popular. People were bigger lawns, they had gardens, they were taking care of stuff.
With the downturn in farming, they needed to diversify, and a salesman came around with a lawnmower, a three-wheel rider.
There's a lawnmower on this trailer that it looks really cool. I don't know too much about it.
They wanted to know if we wanted to sell it through the farm equipment business, and Phil Wenzel looked at it, he goes, "Pfft, we can build that."
Ferris struggled, there's no question about it. They were popping out prototypes maybe sooner than they should. We were putting them out in the field, we were failing, we were picking them up, bringing them back.
That first year that we manufactured in 1985, we made 125 for the year.
We sacrificed many things from, no paychecks. I worked in sales, and I went without expense checks for 8 weeks. We made those sacrifices because we believed in the product.
What are you going to do? There's an opportunity in front of us. We'll have to find our way. That was some really tough times there in the early 90s. Didn't know we were going to be around for the next week.
This area here, people have always been interested and involved in racing, and part of racing is suspension.
If you look at commercial lawnmowers, everybody's the same. They all have the same engines, they all have the same transmissions, so there's not much that separates them. So we're looking for something cutting edge and innovative that nobody else really had.
Bill Shea and I were very close, personal friends, our families and things together. And during this time, we went to the racetrack. His son was driving a limited super modified. Well, there was a young racer there who had recently graduated from college. His name was Todd Gord. And Todd was a pretty good racer. He had a lot of engineering in his car.
I think Dad and Todd were just talking, standing behind the race car, pretty much looking at him and stuff, and they're like, Dad's like, why can't we put suspension on a lawnmower?
Why wouldn't you have suspension on a mower? You have suspension on everything else.
We want to put suspension on a lawnmower, and we think that you would be the guy to lead that effort. We have a blank canvas for you.
As we started to develop suspension into the Pro Cut Z, it seemed simple to just put suspension on 4 wheels, but it was a challenge. I want you to use this machine harder than any end user that would buy it would ever ride it. Problem solving is what, as engineers, we love to do. So it wasn't ever we can't, it's what's the next step to control the next problem. I think that's helped with my career in racing, of having a vision of where we're going and trying to chase that vision.
Now we have our sustainable competitive advantage. We're not going to be able to build these things here. Well, we got to find a place to build. And that little nagging problem of having no money is still here.
My father had to come to school and see the superintendent principal at the time. I had missed school because I decided to go snowmobiling, and my father had to come in to see the principal.
Bill was a little late. Sorry, I had to go over to the school, but I got something really exciting. I talked to the superintendent, and he said, they'll sell us the school and the property for $1 if we'll move our factory there. The Stockbridge school that your son's going to school in, that I walked to the basketball game in the gym last week, yeah, they're going to build a new school.
The first time they told me we were going to move into a school, I thought they were crazy, but there was a lot that this building had to offer that the normal person wouldn't see. The community embraced it because, most of the folks around here went to school here.
It would cost the taxpayers $400,000 to take it down, and that was a lot for a small farm community here. With the school being converted to a manufacturing facility, the dealers really saw what passion it took to do that and to build a business from an old school. All the classrooms were converted into offices and conference rooms, and the original gymnasium, that became our showroom. And what a centerpiece that was for showing off our products.
My dad was the type of person he always wanted to be that person that achieved everything that he touched.
Let's say we have a failure, a component. The first thing you want to do is bring that component back and try to fail it. See what it took to fail it. And then you see what it'll take to make it outlive significantly over what the failure was. We just have a multitude of tests that we can do that are all based off of what we see happening in the field.
Those farmers with that work ethic of that getting up in the morning, getting the job done, doing it right. In this area, we're blessed because they went to work for Ferris, Briggs, Hubler.
We have a very bright future. We've moved into our new facility in 2019, and we have a great state-of-the-art facility. It's a beautiful building.
What's happened now since the new Sherrill manufacturing plant is, I'll ask a customer, you have a friend, you may have a relative, your neighbor may work in that plant building this mower. Kind of gives them like a self-pride that they're gonna buy from someone locally.
A lot of our workforce was, guys that come right off the farm, kids that grew up on the farm. So there was a lot of value in having the factory in this area because there was just a general knowledge that we were gaining with our employees. That is something you don't see all over the country.
As we were moving from Munzville to Sherrill, I know for myself, it was a little bit hard because Our school building had so much character and so much effort went into our manufacturing there that it was a little bit hard to. But then once we got to Sherrill, it's like, wow, we have a brand new building here basically. The renovations that happened there, from the old Oneida Limited silversmiths to what we have today, is just fantastic.
Working at Ferris and being here and always being a part of Ferris, you want to make sure that you're doing everything and have that competitive advantage to win the race.
People make choices, rather just have a job to make money, or do they want to be part of something? We always wanted that choice to be part of something. They did it. I'm proud of them.